You already know this is about to be stupid.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, this a new range, new page. Got me in a new country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on them drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller.
How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, there's no comparison. Black in America, a little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't have mentioned it. That's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send him my sentiments. Neck full of sediments. Caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Dropped an investment in Silicon Valley. All of this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they break in the chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them act as I labels as testing.
How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me.
How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how a nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how a nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They font that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, someone be too who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. There's an empire, fuck a boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, I stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, hey, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah. Ay. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack. We slaying witches and demons, making a list like I'm Steven. This ain't the Garden of Eden. Playing this game, it's not even. I come with soldiers and legions. That is my name that you speaking. All of y'all live for the weekend. I don't know what you believe in. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. She rocking the two-piece and look like a snack. Stay out of trouble, but I got a new scheme. I'm sipping on wine while they sipping on that. I done told y'all if I see it, I cop it. You see what we rocking, we dripping all black. You being off, you seen this deposit. We brought a few bags and there's more in the back. I got riches storing up in heaven. I'm a big gorilla, I got ape aggression. Young and jaded like an adolescent. I'm slightly faded like an evanescent. Brand new villa up on the East Coast. You better come through because we stay progressing. If you roll with us, you better unpack before God teaches you an eternal lesson. Roll with me, you gonna learn something. Roll with me, you gonna earn some. We in the forest like we Fern Gully. If it's feeling off, I discern some. Clean hearts, but we stay muddy. Too smart, but we stay study. Stank face, cause we too ugly. All these jokers think they too funny. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack.
Check, check, 1, 2, ayy, check, check. I don't know if I can rap this shit. Yeah, ayy, yeah. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's poppin'. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they sat it. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. I see you looking, I see you watching. Wasn't too long ago, we was just talking. I'm sorry you hate me now, and I don't mean that. I'm sorry for me, I'm just sorry for you. Cause you won't get to see what a high king can do when he's given the chance to become what he knew he could. Now my shit's popping, oh and I'm shocking. I'm just from Buffalo, I shouldn't make it. Was right by my auntie, but that woman hated me. Good at pretending for everyone faking it. Now I'm awake and I see why they made the choice to kick me out just as soon as I made the choice. Now I'm a king, yeah that's the thing, happens a lot. Fatherless kids, yeah we come by the lot. Changing shit whether you like it or not. He would come like it or not. Look at my wrist, yeah it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they sat it. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. Fuck the whole industry, music and media. Started my own shit, I don't think they feeling me. I just don't get it, so fuck it. I'm done with all this luck shit. Y'all think y'all scaring me, so I address it. But now all your niggas is running. All of your mouths is just running. No talent, but your shit is funded. Now all y'all think y'all real funny. Clown flexing with that fake money. Can't buy shit without real shit, so you rent shit cause you real dummy. Just invest in mine like a broker. New money coming soon. Your last post got like 50,000, but you can't fill the fucking room. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they sat it. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice.
Ay, all of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on they chin. Like Everson K2, get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. I'm dropping slappers to hell with an album. Might fuck around and go see Jimmy Fallon. I multiply while you bury your talents, cause I'm like a hawk when I bury my talents. Guess what I'm saying? I pray on these niggas. There was a day when I'd pray for these niggas. Now I got nothing to say to these niggas. I pray that God does away with these niggas. I keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. My mental is gross, but my verses are kosher. These girls going wild, but I'm not a poacher, so I just keep shining like Elon, I'm solar. All of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on they chin. Like Everson K2, get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. Gotta make this money, only game I know. I'm the only king, this ain't no Game of Thrones. Everybody wanna be a fucking king until it's time to do what a king does. Everywhere I look, it's just kids and drugs. Everywhere I look, it's just gangs and thugs. Can't tame the guns, can't save our loved ones. I grew my funds and I called the plug. Then I filled my lungs, I don't mess with that new shit. Y'all talking tough, but ain't none of y'all do shit. Y'all chasing money, you want the exposure. Y'all think y'all funny and snake Gucci loafers. I don't give disclaimers, I rap full disclosure. These niggas all think they were born in October. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have stacks on plus stacks when I'm older. Stacks when I'm older. Yeah, stacks when I'm older. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have millions in cash when I'm older. All of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on they chin. Like Everson K2, get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green.
Swole, Norman.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 3281 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustlers, and yahos? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you beaches.
It's the fucking Catalina wine. It's the fucking Catalina wine.
And I present to you Mr. Mustard, the Tainty Man. Isn't he looking glorious? He got groomed yesterday, so he's looking absolutely fantastic. Rufus, you're looking good, bro. You look good, Tainty Man. You're looking good. Drop in the comments down below. What are you smashing? Hit the like button. Thanks for being here. And of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave a 5-star review and share with your friends. Let's get into today's episode. Are you ready, beaches? Time for that tip. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, first post today is from the Swolenormous app. This one is from Daniel, and Daniel says, been doing Max Swole and decided after 4 days off weights in Holland on holiday, I would come back and do split A2. Wow. Just shows what a slight change in exercises and the adding of supersets does. I'm a little bit sore, but a good sore. Well, that's good to hear. Glad to have you back in the Swole, back in Max Swole. Hope you enjoy your vacation. We got one from Jeremy, and Jeremy says, this morning I woke up feeling very discouraged. 2 things helped. First, I have nowhere to kick my butt, and second, I have the Swole fam. The discouragement didn't last long. This is one reason community is so important. Discouragement is going to happen, but a good community won't let you wallow in it. Once again, appreciate you all. Hashtag beast mode and Swole fam. Let's get a little American. Right on, Jeremy. We got you. Joanne, responding to the intimidated to go to the gym email. If you're not on the email list, go to makeemailswoleagain.com. Joanne says, When I used to use a public gym, I was always intimidated, but I never let it stop me. People grow through facing adversity. It was not that I thought people were looking at me or judging me. It was more not wanting to be in anyone's way, not wanting to take too long with equipment or take up too much space. I would always feel nervous as I can struggle with social cues and did not want my presence to hinder someone else's experience. I can think that my choices are fine at times, only to be told that my perception was incorrect and I was actually doing something unjust or offensive. Despite this, I still went. Hiding from the world is not going to help me navigate it any better. Only through facing these situations can I actually learn to help alleviate the social anxiety that plagues me at times. It is easier to train at home, to have access and time on anything without risk of upsetting anyone else, but the reason I do so was not to avoid the public, but rather a financial decision. All right, understood. And like Joanne says, I mean, the only way to go through or to overcome these things is to go through and hammer it out. But glad to hear your story. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure a lot of people share your own your similar experience, but you could drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I always like to reiterate that who cares what anyone else thinks? Go do your thing. Your membership is as good as anyone else's. Straight up. You're not being rude. If someone gets offended by something, that's not on you. If you're not doing actually anything to, I don't know what someone would be offended by, but maybe you're just talking about general gym things, gym etiquette, I suppose. But you're totally fine. You're totally fine. Remember, if you're at a gym and someone's being a dick to you, you can go and talk to management and have them handle it, because you shouldn't be there. There's no place for someone being rude or essentially unsupportive in a gym. You know, you're sharing it, right? When you have a membership, you're sharing a space. No one else owns the gym. And unfortunately, people act like they own the gym. It happens. You know, some people just have that ego. They're narcissistic. They just think everything revolves around them. But your gym membership is no better than anyone else's. You're all renting the space, and your membership allows other people to have a membership, right? Your membership has the ability, or gives the ability, of other people to have memberships, and for the gym to stay profitable, hopefully, and stay open, allow everyone to use it respectfully. So just get your shit done, and everyone else can go F themselves. Seriously. All right, let's get into some questions. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into some other topics. Drop in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio if you have a question. Let me just take a moment here and upload a video, because it's always good when I upload a video before I go live. But if you have questions, drop in the comments down below and we'll get to your questions. Got some from Instagram stories. We'll load up TikTok and Rumble and YouTube, of course. If you have questions, drop your comments. If I had $1, I'm going to post that one, and then we're going to go live. Excellent. How we doing, PK, Pam, Cerny? Thanks for being here, everyone. Alan, how are we doing on YouTube? Let's see. Alan Olvero. Actually, let's take your question on YouTube. Papa Swolio, I get progressive overload, but how much weight and how often should we up the weight? As often as you can. Remember, progressive overload is your body allowing you. It's adapting to allow you to lift more weight or the same weight for more reps, or both. So how much weight? I mean, what do you mean? I don't know how much you lift. So you can go up a pound. You can get 1 pound plates, quarter pound plates, half pound plates, 2.5 pounds. You can put on remember, progressive overload, if you're doing 8 reps and you add weight and you get 6 reps, that's not progressive overload. But then if you take that same weight the next time for 7 reps, that's progressive overload. Or 8 reps, that's progressive overload. Or doing the same weight or the same amount of reps with a little bit more weight. Let's say you did 8 reps last time with 100, and then you put on 5 pounds, and you did 8 reps with 105, that's progressive overload. So you're not going to get progressive overload every single time. So sometimes I might add a pound and I get a rep less. Okay, that's not progressive overload in the short term. I went a little bit heavier and I wasn't able to get the same amount of reps, but then the next time I'm going to come back and then try to get that extra rep, and that will be considered progressive overload. So if you're finding that you are consistently, session after session, not able to progressively overload, there's something with your training protocol, your intensity, your fatigue, your nutrition, your sleep. There's other things that are limiting you. And usually it's fatigue. Usually it's doing too much, not allowing enough recovery, or it's something else related. So you have to keep an eye on all those things. So you want to increase as often as you can. And if you're choosing a new exercise or you're new to the gym, you'll be able to increase more rapidly and more frequently when you first start. So you get those neurological adaptations. You don't really start building muscle with an exercise if it's a novel movement. You don't really do that for the first couple of weeks. You have to adapt to the movement. That's why you'll see the numbers jump up quickly, and then it kind of like plateaus off, but then you make those incremental improvements. That's really when your body's adapted. You're not getting as sore if you're doing 1 or 2 sets for a body part. You're not getting as sore anymore. If you do something new, you're going to feel a lot more just because you have different stretching of the muscle spindles. You might have a little bit more damage from the movement or the mechanical tension that's new and novel, and then you adapt to it. So remember, progressive overload is not something that you force on your body. It's something that your body adapts and allows you to do. You've adapted, and it's allowed your body to add more weight or add more reps. 1 second. Let me just show the Tainty Man for a second. I got to clean my camera. Camera lens was looking a little bit wonky. All right. Well, thank you for the question. Let's turn down that AC. I'm starting to get hot in here. It's getting hot in here, fam. It's getting hot with all these questions. It's getting hot in here. All right. How's everyone else's training programming going on Rumble? Drop in the comments down below if you have anything you want to add. Wouter Vanderheid on Instagram stories. Nice name. Papa Swole, how do you get energized in the gym so that you can train longer? Well, let's talk around this a little bit. Energized in the gym. First off, proper nutrition, sleep, proper recovery. So if you're recovered and you're ready to train, that means you have proper programming. You shouldn't feel drained and wiped out when you're going to the gym. That's a sign that things are not as they should be. You can have some pre-workout, you can have some honey, you can have some coffee, depending on what time you're training for an actual stimulant boost. But that's going to come from, you shouldn't need that. That shouldn't be a crutch. It should be based on your sleep and your nutrition and your program design. Training longer, again, the length of your training session isn't the most important. How long you're in the gym for. How long you're in the gym for doesn't really matter. It shouldn't be 4 hours unless you're doing sauna and you're hanging out there and you're, doing some work on your computer afterwards or before or something like that. But you shouldn't be training for more than 2 hours. And when I say 2 hours, I mean maybe any of your preparation, your warm up, you get to the gym, your actual training session shouldn't be more than like an hour, hour and a half, really. I'm talking about total time. And it really depends on the volume you're doing. Because if you're training, remember, you're lifting weights, you're not lifting for cardio. You're not doing cardio when you're lifting weights. You need longer rest periods. So depending on how many exercises you're doing, remember, if you're trying to shorten, here's a couple little tweaks or little hacks. I don't like really calling it hack, but everyone knows the term. So if you want to shorten in general your training session, you want to choose less exercises. Why? If you're doing full body, for example, and some people like full body, I dabble with full body, I do it. I'm generally do sometimes like an upper lower. I'm going back and forth. I do anything from a push-pull legs to a full body. I'm going to explain a little bit more about frequency and the amount of volume you're doing, how well you recover, exercise selection, and how many exercises you choose is really going to determine like how long your workouts take. Yes, the volume matters, how many sets you do. But if you're setting up, let's say you're doing full body, you're doing 10 different exercises. That's 10 different things you have to set up. If you're at a public gym, you have to find the bench or the preacher curl or a machine. It has to be available. Even if you're at home, you have to set up a different exercise. Maybe you have adjustable weights. You have to add weights to the bar. So it takes more time. You got to do a couple preparation sets, and then you do your 1 or 2 working sets. And that's going to take more time. So a great way to make your workouts shorter is to choose less exercises. So of course, the allure of something like upper lower versus full body is that if you're doing an upper workout, you don't need to do 10 exercises or 12 exercises. Maybe you're doing 10 total sets, but you could do 5 exercises, 2 sets each. It's much easier and much quicker to do your like a working set, rest for 3 minutes, 4 minutes or whatever, do your second working set, and then move on to another exercise, then set up something, do your preparation sets, do your all out set, and then go and set up another exercise. It just takes more time. You have to move your stuff, you know, whatever it is. So if you want your workout to be shorter time wise, and again, this depends on what your schedule is like. Some of you go to the gym. Okay, I wake up at 5, I get to the gym by 5:30, I have to be out the door at 7 o'clock. So you have some time constraints, so it matters. If you go to the gym and you're like, hey, I have all the time I want, let's say you have a couple hours, you don't have to worry about time constraints. You just do whatever you want. Then you have a little more flexibility. So different splits can work based on your schedule. If you only have an hour, doing something like an upper lower or full body or a combination of upper lower and push pull legs might be great, because doing a push day, you could do 3 exercises for a push day. You know, I'm not negative on push pull legs, but push pull legs in combination with upper lower is great because you're still getting the 2 times a week frequency. You could do upper lower rest, push pull legs rest, and do it again. Upper lower rest, push pull legs rest. So you're doing upper lower Monday, Tuesday, take a day off Wednesday, do push pull legs, because if you're doing push, you might be doing 6 sets on that Thursday. You do 2 sets for a chest, two working sets for chest, maybe 3, and then you do 2 sets for shoulders and 2 sets for triceps. And that's 6 sets. So it's a lot shorter. So you might want to set up your schedule. So if you have a certain day where you don't have enough time or a lot of time, you're like, okay, let me just do push on this day, and then I'll do pull and then legs, and then I'll do upper lower on the weekend or something. You can go back and forth, or I'm not gonna be able to train for 3 days, so let me do upper lower on Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll do full body on Thursday or Friday, and then I have a long weekend. I'm going away with the family, so you do a full body before you go. There's different things you can adjust like that. Make sense? And remember, it comes down to what body parts you're trying to prioritize and what you really want to focus on, and then working your split around that. So it doesn't have to be push-pull legs. It could be pull-push legs. But remember, whatever body parts you do after a recovery day, you're going to be the most recovered. So if you're trying to prioritize chest or shoulders, it's good after a rest day to train the body parts that you're trying to target the most. Make sense? Okay. And when I answer some of these questions, I'm trying to talk a little bit more generally. That way, maybe it spurns some more questions or some follow-up from some of you. Hashtag SwoleAF. Hashtag SwoleAF for a chance to win today's Swole card. And let's give a shout out to America. If you don't know, today is 100 days into Trump's presidency. So things are underway. So thank you for being here. We'll cover some recent interesting news. So you could drop in the comments down below. We'll talk about that more in Balls Deep. But you could also drop in the comments, what are your thoughts on Trump's first 100 days? It's shocking that it's just 100 days. It's just 100 days. So how long is the presidency? 4 years? So that's 730. It's like 1,460 days or something. So just getting started. So 100 days in. What are your thoughts? Drop in the comments. We'll talk more about that in the Balls Deep portion. So let's get into some more questions. Charles624 on Rumble says, I'm on week 3 of being back to working out fully body. I'm assuming full body. My shoulder press machine weight stack for each side went from 70 pounds, 8 reps to 100 pounds, 7 reps. So it's improving. Newbie gains. That's fantastic. Feels great, right? Feels great. Newbie gains are great. It's excellent. My diet is the best it's ever been. Same person. Bacon, eggs, ground beef, sweet potato, dairy, water, creatine, fish, chicken, rice every now and then. Good for you. Good for you. Good stuff. Good for you. No arrests yet. Oh, you mean like Epstein and stuff? Yeah, what's going on with that? I'm waiting. I'm patient. I'm a patient person. A lot of people aren't patient with this, and I understand. But just keep in mind that hopefully these things get addressed. I'll be pissed. I will be pissed if that stuff doesn't get addressed. But I think we all understand we're giving a little bit of grace, because if anyone's ever had any experience in the legal field, it takes time to build these cases and to go. It does take time. It does take time. Can you imagine how many thousands of documents there are? But yeah, we should see some stuff happening. I agree. We all want to see stuff happening. We're all on the same side with that. So I'm just giving a little bit of benefit of the doubt. And also, I can only imagine all the cover up and the red tape and the clogging and shit that like the previous administration did with all those documents, and who knows what was hidden and deleted and burned. And yeah, but come on, we have to get something going with that. We have to get the Epstein shit going. That's for sure. The Cheyenne, Papa Solia, how do I stop to procrastinate? Have a purpose, set a program, set a schedule, set intent, and execute. You're the only one that can stop your procrastination. What I would recommend, a great read, is Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. It's a great book to help you understand what procrastination actually is, which he terms resistance. It's like this ever-present force that is always there, is always pushing against you, is always encouraging you, kind of like that tiny little voice on your shoulder, always kind of being like negative, allowing you to stay stagnant, avoid, and putting off things that you should be doing. So that's a great book. I recommend reading it. All right. Drift. Should I take creatine, meaning fake muscles? I don't think you understand what creatine does. Creatine's fantastic, and there's nothing fake. Creatine doesn't give you muscles. All right. Cristo, damn it. Papa Swole, how much protein a day to build muscle? A good general goal is a gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's not an exact science with that, but understand you want to have sufficient protein. You're going to be more satiated. Having enough protein is very important. So that's a good aim to have. And then you can adjust the fat and the carbohydrates based on the food you're eating, how you feel, your performance, what kind of training you're doing, this, that, and the other. So your fat and carb ratio is going to be different than other people and what quality of foods you're eating. But it's very important to get enough protein. Papa Swolio, Adam James on TikTok. I go to the gym 3 days a week. Should I be eating more to gain muscle? Of course. Are pretzels unhealthy? It depends on how the pretzels are made. If you're making sourdough pretzels, they're probably better to digest, and it depends on the ingredients. So if you're making them yourself, they're better than if you're buying them stabilized and preserved from the store. But fermented bread, sourdough, is easier to digest. And of course, it matters where you're getting the grains from. So if you're milling it yourself, fresh matters. Just like coffee. If you're getting pre-ground coffee, there's going to be mycotoxins, it's just going to be stale. So if you really want to make quality coffee, you want to make sure you're grinding the beans yourself. And the same thing with sourdough. You want to do it fresh. It makes a huge difference. KA just had our second baby. Congratulations. I do 5:30 a.m. workouts, now doing 9 p.m., but I'm tired from work. Any advice? You said you do 5:30 a.m. workouts, so you don't need to do both. Why are you now doing 9 p.m. workouts? That's going to be brutal for you. You're better off doing it first. I know you're probably tired and spread thin depending on your schedule, but I would recommend doing it first. You're going to feel much better. I would be tired from work too. I don't train at 9 o'clock at night unless you're doing some yoga. You could just do some yoga, some yin yoga and stuff like that. That's great. That'd be great. Alan, Papa Soy, what are your thoughts on the saltine cracker test? How do you mean? Don't eat saltine crackers. How about that? Abhi 0705, Papa Soy, how to get better arm strength so I could do push-ups. Do push-ups from your knees, do them elevated, do it on a bench or on a couch or on a bed so you're not pushing directly against gravity. Practice those and then lower your hand position so you're closer to the ground. William Abiles, Papa Solio, are you really supposed to take a rest day to take a day? Are you really supposed to take a day to rest if you're getting lots of sleep? Of course. You can't train 7 days a week, nor should you. Just because some people do and they can survive, it doesn't mean they wouldn't get better results. Most people overtrain. Most people overtrain in the following sense. Most people do way too much junk volume. Most people don't sleep well, so they're already overtrained because they're not sleeping well. They do too much junk volume. They're not eating properly, so they're overtraining because they're not getting proper nutrition in that sense. And so they're spinning their wheels. That's why a lot of people in the gyms just look the same. Their strength never increases. They never change. They get burnt out because they are always burnt out. They're always at 70, 80%, and they don't see any progress, and they just keep on beating themselves up, get frustrated, and quit because they're actually not recovering enough, and they're not doing all the other 7 pillars like quality sleep and nutrition and proper program design. So yes, you shouldn't be lifting intensely every day. Doesn't mean you can't go for a walk or do some cardio or play with the dog or play some basketball or go for a bike ride. But intense training, you need like reprieve from intense training, so your central nervous system recovers. Alan says, supposedly if you put a saltine cracker on your tongue and it takes more than 2 seconds, you need more carbs. But if it takes 2 seconds, you need less carbs? What are you talking about? What takes 2 seconds? I don't know. I'm not doing that test. But is that what you mean? Like, does it dissolve or something? I'm not aware of that test. Okay. You can follow up with that. Sydney Buckaloo, Papa, I struggle with eating later at night. Any tips to help with that? Later at night, you shouldn't be eating. You're supposed to be sleeping. So that's probably why you're probably thirsty or chronically exhausted. Or you're not getting enough electrolytes throughout the day, or you're not eating nutritious enough food earlier in the day. What I would recommend is closer to bed, some tea with collagen in it. That's fantastic. So that should be very satisfying. It's great for your joints. And if you have issues waking up in the middle of the night, you put some chamomile tea, just simply stated. You know, there's other things you can do, but I'm not going to get into all those details. But if you have some chamomile tea, some collagen protein in there, and then maybe like a tablespoon of honey, of raw honey, and then that should help for the like hypoglycemic state at night. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, it's usually because your blood sugar drops, and then your brain kind of you have like a glucose dump because your brain, blood sugar drops, and then your body might, release a little bit of like glucose, and then you wake up because of the hypoglycemia. So if you have a little sugar before bed, like a little honey in your tea or something like that, it can help you sleep through the night. So that's something to try. I like it. 10 out of 10 recommend. Matthew David, 8053. Papa Swole, can I just do squats? Can I just do squats for legs, or should I add more exercises? Great question. Can you just do squats for legs? Yes. Now, squats are not going to hit every body part. Squats, if you do them properly, if you're not doing, let's say, heels coming up, if you're just doing standard squats, maybe with squat shoes, or you're getting deep in the hole, you're getting your adductors, you're getting some glute, and you're getting quads. You're not hitting hamstrings with squats. So some people's legs develop differently. Squats are mostly going to target the vastus medialis and the vastus lateralis. You'll get rectus femoris, but you also want to add in something where the hip is extended. So it's great to add in like a leg extension. So if you're doing squats and leg extensions, that's pretty much all you need for quads. But I would also recommend for legs doing a hip hinge. So you get not just the glutes, but you'll get the hip hinge components of the hamstrings. And you want to do some sort of a curl, like a seated leg curl or a prone leg curl. And also, if you want big legs, I would also not neglect the adductors, which you'll get adductors. You'll get some adductor magnus when you're doing like stiff leg deadlifts or a hip hinge. And also if you're doing deep squats. But if you keep your feet low on the platform and you're getting a lot of knee flexion, like Tom Platt style, you're not getting as much adductor. So you could do an adductor machine, pulling the legs together. So if you want big legs, it's quads, adductors, hammies and glutes. So I would not just do squats for legs only. I don't personally. Sydney Buckaloo, follow-up. By late at night, I don't mean midnight. I sleep through the night consistently. I'm talking around 9, 10 p.m. Well, you shouldn't be eating at night. Like, you should be asleep at 9 or 10. That's really what your body's telling you. I'll definitely give the collagen tea a shot, though. Thank you. Yeah, and you might like a little bit of like a tablespoon of honey. It's going to take the edge off. I don't know what your electrolyte consumption is and how much protein you're eating throughout the day, but a lot of times feeling hungry at night is because you're either thirsty, like you're dehydrated, or you're tired and your body is ready to go to sleep. So if you're awake when your body wants to be in bed, and usually people generally, there's different circadian rhythms, but going to sleep by 10 p.m. is really important, like around that time. If you're awake and your body's like, we're tired, it's going to be like, hey, we need sugar to stay awake. We need some energy. That's really what your body is telling you. So I don't have all the details. I know you're watching live, so you can follow up, but that's something to keep in mind. If you're not consuming electrolytes, you need to. But if you have the collagen at night with a little bit of honey, that should, around 9 or 10, that should take the edge off. Plus, you're getting some hydration. You could put a little electrolytes in there. You could put a little salt in there too at night. Something to try and see how it goes. Ruben, rate my body 1 out of 10. 2.5. I can't see your body, so I'm just trolling you. All right, Butterefly. All right, drop your questions in the comments. Papa, I just started. Dang. Nah, let me see. Let me click on Ruben. Can I see I can't see your profile. Nah, you look lean, man. You look lean. You look lean. Just need to bulk up. Got to put on some mass. Papa, I just started my weight gain journey. Any tips? Steak, eggs, heavy lifting. Remember, you don't want to gain fat. Your weight gain journey needs to be muscle gain. You want to focus on putting on lean mass. Sydney says I'm low carb, so maybe I need to add in some extra electrolytes. Thanks, Papa. Yeah, low carb. I'm not really a fan of low carb per se, but yeah, low carb is definitely depleting. A lot of times when people try to do low carb, they're not getting anywhere near as much electrolytes. A lot of people have trouble with keto for that reason and carnivore. So yes, electrolytes. Do you consume electrolytes? You said extra. Do you consume any electrolyte products? Do you make it yourself? Sodium, chloride, potassium, magnesium. First thing in the morning, electrolytes. And especially like throughout the day and later at night. Or, after a workout or before and after a workout. All right. Questions? Eli Joseph, Papa Swole, do you think it's better to reach failure on every set? No. If you're trying to go to failure, now failure is really 0 RIR, but I consider failure like you can't get the rep, you fail the rep. That to me is task failure. So there's no such thing as beyond failure. You hit task failure, that's what failure is failure. So if you're doing that on every set, you're going to be exhausted. You're just wasting energy. So if you leave off that last failure rep and you wouldn't be able to get another one, don't even attempt it. Or you could probably do one more. So 1 rep in reserve, 1 RIR. You just leave it there. You're going to make the same gains and you're going to shave off a lot of fatigue. You'll recover faster in the next couple of days and you'll be able to train more. You'll be able to train again sooner at full intensity. It doesn't mean you can't train to failure. I've done so much to failure, but I find I don't like to train to failure as much now just because of the extra fatigue. I feel so much better when I leave a rep in the tank or I don't attempt that last rep where I probably wouldn't get it. So you're going to be able to load more and minimize fatigue. So you want the stimulus to fatigue ratio to be in your favor. You want to create the proper stimulus for growth and you want to fatigue yourself as little as possible. As little as possible. Any exercise, you're going to be incurring fatigue. So I'm not saying you don't fatigue yourself. You're not going to have zero fatigue. The goal is to minimize it so you can train again at full intensity and recover. Because you're not building muscle, you're not going to be able to progressively overload unless your body adapts. And if you're constantly fatigued, you're not compensating and you're not going to be able to build muscle. Last chance for questions. Cerny, Papa Swole, when doing squats on the Smith bar, should I smash my head into the bar before or after the set? Ooh, probably after. So you can get your set in first and then hit your head on the bar. I'm just kidding. Seriously now. When doing squats on the Smith bar, I keep my feet close together. Does that hit the front of the quads more? You keep your feet close together. It's not so much the width of your stance. It's more about the knee flexion. So it's really about how far it's really about the bend of your knees. This is why people you might want to try, if you want to hit the quads more on a squat, you could put plates under your heels or wear squat shoes. But if you have 5-pound or 10-pound plates, you put them under your heels, drop the weight so you can experience it, but you'll get a lot more knee flexion. And remember, the knee flexion on a squat is the most important thing with an upright back. You want to do a high bar squat. Low bar squats are just not for quads. That's more for like powerlifting. That's not for bodybuilding. That's not for building muscle, really. So keeping your feet close together, you can go wider, and it's not that. You want to go where you're comfortable. Some people like a more narrow stance, but if you elevate your heels, it'll loosen or give you a little bit more mobility around the ankle. Because you have tight calves, it'll limit your ability to track the knees over your toes. So a little bit of heel elevation will allow your knees to come over your toes more, and you'll feel more in your quads. So if you haven't tried putting plates under your heels, try that. But just drop the weight, just use the bar, and just see the movement and see how it feels. And then just kind of start over, like in terms of your weight, and just keep in mind that it's a new stress, so you don't want to load it the same way you have been and just be like, hey, I'm going to use the same weight and then elevate my heels. It's different. So just feel it out and see how you like it. Drift, what kind of creatine should I take? What brand you recommend? Creapure is a great brand. Creapure is not like the name of a creatine. It is, but brand source Creapure. I think it's from Germany. And it's just a very clean, high quality creatine monohydrate. So brands or creatine that use Creapure is a good, and eating more red meat. Oh, I have heard of that. Alan's saying, so you take the cracker, put on your tongue, and time how long it takes to go from salty to sweet. Oh, I have heard something like that. First aid on TikTok. Any advice for a vegetarian, bro? Eat steak. Why are you a vegetarian? I'm always curious when someone says, you're not a vegetarian, you just eat that way. It's in your head. So like, why are you a vegetarian? Is it religious? Is it, what's the reason for you being a vegetarian? That's your choice. People ask me, it's like, hey, I'm not eating the most nutrient dense food on the planet. Any advice for me? I'm like, eat the most nutrient dense food on the planet. Eat some more beef. That's my take on it. Any tips for a vegan? Yeah, don't be. I got tips. Hope that helps. Mark says, I went vegetarian for Lent a few years back. Never again wanted to die daily. We need meat. Give me that meat. Give me that beef. Greetings from Copenhagen. Shout out. Denmark in the house. Seriously though, eat some meat. Get some steak in there. Oof, good question. Altair, how many bulked up Papa Swolio clones could take down a moose? Are we talking about how many Papa Swolios will it take to take down a gorilla? 100 Papa Swolios versus a gorilla. All right, how many Papa Swolios does it take to screw in a light bulb? Have you seen that? 100 men versus a gorilla? That debate on X. People, what I've learned from that is people have no idea how strong gorillas are. Now, not all gorillas are equal, but you have a big, like full adult, like peak alpha silverback. People have no idea how big gorillas are. But people do take down gorillas, right? They catch them or they'll kill. I mean, I'm sure they're preserved or they're protected now, but you go to Africa, I mean, people, they poach all sorts of animals out there. But I guess if you're talking about bare hands, we're talking bare hands. We're not talking about with a net and like a trap and stuff like that. But people have no idea. They have no idea how strong gorillas are. Like if you have 100 people and just a gorilla, bare hands, the environment matters too. But what are you going to do? What are humans going to do? Now, if you have 100, honestly, if you have 100 jujitsu practitioners, like 100 black belts in jujitsu, there might be something there where you can synchronize and be like, all right, because I mean, it's still a gorilla, but you have like 5 people on each arm, hold this back. Like if you know how to actually submit, but the anatomy is different of a gorilla. They're strong as just, they're so strong. They're so strong. 100's a lot of people. You just pile on, you know, it might just, if you just smother, it's still hard to fight off 100 people. If there were 100 chickens chasing you, I mean, they'd peck the shit out of you. 100's a lot, but gorillas are jacked. Jacked. I don't know. All I know is I don't want to be one of those 100 people. I'll pass. I'll watch. I'll watch. I can't help but think, yeah, 100 people could take out a gorilla if they get lucky, right? If the gorilla trips or something. Gorillas are strong as hell. Guac asks, can I still put on muscle mass while at a deficit, only hitting around 120 to 140 grams of protein? Maybe a slight deficit, but chances are not for long. If you're asking me this question, probably not. Some people can. If you're in a very slight, it depends on what the deficit is. But you want enough protein. Your deficit should not be coming from protein. If you're trying to build muscle while being in a slight deficit, I will reiterate this. Most people are trying to cut and be in a deficit and they have nothing to cut to. I'm just saying, nothing to cut to. So understand, if you're trying to lean out, you're not trying to lean out to your skeleton. What muscle do you have? So a lot of people will put on 20 or 30 pounds in 4 months, mostly fat, and then they'll cut down and they're exactly where they were before. People need to be consistently trying to build muscle because it's hard. You have nothing to cut to. So many people try to cut. I see these skinny people like, hey, I want to get lean. You have no muscle. What are you talking about? You're going to look like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Skin and bones. And if you're at 30% body fat, you don't have any muscle mass, probably. What's your height? What's your weight? Like, I don't know anything about you. Most people don't have enough muscle mass to cut down to. John says not all 100 men can ignore their self-preservation to either not initially advance and or run during the middle of an attack. Well, look, you're going to have 5 or 10 people go after this gorilla. The gorilla is going to absolutely destroy them. And the other 90 people are going to be like, all right, I'm good. Are we assuming that? We're assuming that 100 people taking down a gorilla. You're telling me that all 100 people are going to fight to the death. They're willing to give their life. That's how it has to be, because a gorilla doesn't care. The gorilla is going to be fighting to the death. I don't think humans will do that. I mean, if you're locked in a room, it's just an even, but that's not a natural environment. That's not fair for the gorilla. I mean, I guess it has to be it has to be a real neutral playing field. So maybe like a grass field, flat or something. I don't know. Humans are not that strong with just their body, nowhere close to a gorilla. Not as fast, just the amount of strength. Like chimpanzees will rip your limbs off. Brian Shaw. A gorilla would destroy Brian Shaw. Would destroy and not even have to like work up a sweat. And Brian Shaw is a big dude. Like not it's easy work. Not even close. Not even close. So again, the 100 dudes, are we talking about 100 Shaquille O'Neals? I mean, mass and size, but it's also speed and power. It's just, people don't understand how strong gorillas are. They do not understand how strong gorillas are. But it's a good debate, though, right? 100. It's like, well, you have 100 people. But don't forget, you know, a gorilla takes up X amount of space. 100 people aren't doing... You can't get to the gorilla, 100 people. How many people can go after a gorilla at once? 20 people? There's not that much space, right? So the other 80 people, let's say 20 people go after a gorilla. The other 80 people are just there. Just piling on. Ugh, smother. Brian Shaw once wanted to fight a bear. The bear would destroy. There's different types of bears. What kind of bear are we talking about? Like a polar bear? Yeah, good luck. A polar bear would rip your soul out. Anyway, let's keep on going. Lunar Spider says, or you could use the 20 people as shields and put the hard hitters behind them. But we're talking about humans. Like, hey, humans. And these humans have to be like the gorilla, right? You have to wear, you can't have like all these clothing. You can't, you're using a shirt. No, are we talking about even like naked humans? Naked humans or like a loincloth, right? Like 100 dudes like in Under Armour, like boxers, like spandex, like jock straps. If we're making it even, we're talking about just humans without protection and a gorilla. Gorilla's going to win, man. I would not, it really does depend, but I'm probably betting on the gorilla. Gorilla would maul. How heavy is a silverback, right? I mean, again, are we talking about the largest silverback ever recorded, right? What is the average weight of a silverback gorilla? Jesus Christ. The average weight of a silverback gorilla typically ranges from 3 to 500 pounds. 3 to 500 pounds. All right, so let's say 500-pound gorilla. Good luck, bro. Typically ranges from 3 to 500. So there's ones that are like 600-700 pounds. All right, here we go. So there's all this gorilla stuff popping up. Silverback gorilla facts, because that's what we need. I'm glad there's a website dedicated to silverback gorilla facts. What's the bite force? Yeah, don't forget biting. What are you going to do? Bite a gorilla? Nope. The bite force of a silverback gorilla is 1,300 psi. 1,300. You're not just getting stomped and smashed. You're getting bit by a gorilla. Have fun. The punch force is between 1,300 psi and 2,700 psi. Pounds per square inch. Good luck. Good luck. Khabib used to wrestle with his pet bear. Well, that's his pet, though. I wrestle with Rufus. He's not trying to kill me. Let's just put it this way. It'd be fun to watch. The heaviest recorded silverback was 588.6 pounds. So let's go with the heaviest, right? Let's not go with like, a 200-pound gorilla. We're talking, let's go 600 pounds. A 600-pound gorilla. Yeah, have fun. Have fun. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. I'm just going to go outside, sun my balls, go to the gym. I ain't trying to attack a 600-pound gorilla. I will do whatever I can to be as far away from a silverback gorilla as possible. I'll watch it on TV. Totally fine. Again, you ready for this? We're not talking about the gorillas you see at the zoo. You go to the Miami Zoo or some zoo. We're not talking about enclosed, domesticated, neutered, like just completely not in their natural environment. You're talking about a gorilla who's running around, eating shit, attacking, being the alpha, submitting and just destroying other males. Like, no, I'm the king of the jungle. Right? In the wild, and then boom, put him in a fucking arena. You're done. You're done. I bet Mr. Beast is going to do this and rent out the Coliseum in Rome. That's what we should do. Rent out the Coliseum in Rome. All right? Put the floor back up. Let's go fucking gladiator style. Let's get a 600-pound silverback and just put people in the arena. That's what it'd be. That's what they used to do. In the Roman times, that's what they used to do. But they used to give people swords and shit. You know? They used to fill it up with water. They used to have giraffes. They used to slaughter so many in the, you know, the bread and circus. They used to just slaughter exotic animals all the time. But let's go to the Colosseum. He should do that in a field. He should do that in a field. He should construct like a faux Colosseum, and then we can get all these, all the pedophiles and put them in a ring and see if they can take them out. I think that's great. We'll give the wood chipper a rest, and we'll let them try to fight. Let's do 100 pedophiles versus a gorilla. Oh, I would pay-per-view the fuck out of that. I'd watch that on DAZN. I'd watch that. Anyone else? UFC is great, and the slap fighting is stupid. I think that's dumb. I would totally watch that. I would totally watch it. I'll stick with the sword. Let the pedophiles have the chance to earn their freedom. Well, we don't want them free, so... But I get your point. I get your point. I would totally watch that. Get the popcorn ready. I'll even eat some popcorn. Can't wait. Now I'm excited. Now I really want to see it. Now I feel like my life is incomplete. What if we do that? What if Mr. Beast buys, or, you know, what if he buys Epstein Island? Okay, hear me out. You know, and we do this kind of thing where like we release the files, right? We do like a kind of a whole, we make it like the Epstein Festival, and we rent out Epstein Island, kind of like it was kind of like Fyre Fest, but like Epstein, we'll call it Epstein Fest or Pedo Fest, and then build a Coliseum on Epstein's Island. All right. People can take their boats and yachts. It could be a whole like Monaco kind of like Mediterranean thing, you know, big regalia. We'll have like the planes going on overhead, Mr. Beast, you know, and then we'll have the Coliseum built up. We'll get all the pedos in there, right? And they can fight for their freedom. Everyone who's on the list. Everyone who's on the list. You know, Stephen Hawking being there like, I'm going to get the gorilla. That gorilla is too strong. I know he's dead, but too soon? Anyway, I think that's great. I think everyone would instantly forgive the delays with the Epstein list and all that stuff if that would happen. You're like, okay, now I get it. That's why they were preparing. That's why they haven't released everything yet. That's why they haven't released the Epstein list. Now I get it. That's why they haven't released the Epstein list, because they were setting up for PedoFest. Tell me that isn't boss. The gorilla's like Thanos. He would just grab people by the skull and just like destroy their... A gorilla naturally has just that infinity gauntlet on his... It just has two infinity gauntlets on his hand. Just smash. The gorilla would smash all the pedophiles and be like, now I get to retire. I get to retire and watch the sunset over a grateful universe. That's a translation. Now I want to see it. Mr. Beast, make it happen. Let's go. Let's go. Fuck yeah! Okay. Last chance questions. If you're watching on TikTok, come on over on Rumble and YouTube. We're going to continue the show. Thanks for being here. Good questions. Go to the gym, and links in the bio. Buy one, get one 50% off merch. All the links for the podcast, if you want to come on over on Rumble and YouTube, are in the main menu on papaswolio.com. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you, Beaches. Come catch the rest of the show. Subscribe. All that good stuff. Why'd that post twice? All right, dope. All right, let's get into some balls deep, shall we? Let's go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's deep. All right, so drop in the comments down below. I think I asked earlier, but what are your thoughts? Drop in the comments. The title of today's episode is 100 Days of America's Return to Greatness. If you don't know, today is 100 days of Trump's presidency. So drop in the comments down below. What do you think? What do you guys think of the first 100 days? What do you think? I know a lot of you voted for Trump or you support it, but like, I'm just asking, what do you think so far? Aside from the Epstein list, I know there's more things that we want. And honestly, I think it should be happening faster, but who knows? Maybe the next, I'm just saying it's 100 days. So there's like 1,300 more days of his presidency. There's a lot of things that can go down. There's a lot of things like a sledgehammer the sledgehammer's already coming down, but things do take time. But I'm very interested. So aside from the Epstein stuff, we know we want to see that. What else do you guys think? Or is that the only thing you guys care about? Which is fine too. Like you can have what are your thoughts? Any pros and cons that you've seen in your personal life? Maybe aside from what you see on social media, because there's a lot of people I asked on X. Actually, let's go through some of that. Maybe it'll spurn some of your own thoughts. Where did I see this? 13 responses. Let's go here. All right. What do you think about Trump's first 100 days in office? Let's say Ishka says, I don't think about it at all. So I'd say it's pretty good. Nice to be back to normal life and knowing it's all taken care of. So I understand. I agree. I mean, it's definitely not all taken care of. We're just getting started. And if you haven't noticed, the liberal media is still losing their fucking mind and trying to split and divide this country more than ever before. So they chilled for like 48 hours when he got inaugurated, and then it's just all out because Trump calls it like it is. So I don't think it's all taken care of at all. If anything, it's just ramping up, but I appreciate it. You don't have to think about it. And that's also the benefit, right? If you don't have to think about it, it's also a good sign, right? So Brandon says it's been fun to watch. I agree. Chad says he's doing great. He's giving all of us hope for a better future, something the previous administration had no clue on. I agree with that. Thomas DeVries says waiting for the trade agreements to be signed so I can see if they're any better than what they were. Fair. And these things take time. So I agree with that. I think people are judging the tariffs and things. These things don't happen overnight. Right? These things don't happen overnight. They're negotiating tactics, but also previously in our country's history, we've been at zero debt because of tariffs. Like we should be incentivizing manufacturing here and not necessarily, it's not penalizing, but taxing other countries for selling goods that we can make here. If there's goods in other countries that we can't make, there's no point in really tariffing that. I'm sure there's unique situations. It's more complicated, but certain products shouldn't be tariffed if we cannot produce them here. In other words, we want to incentivize production here so we're more self-sustaining, more manufacturing, more jobs, more prosperity in our country because we've shipped the prosperity overseas. Dustin Strait says he's doing awesome. Thanks for the response. Dustin. Robert the Red, let's read his. I like the policies and the rapid pace. Vance, Homan, Cash, and Hegseth were solid picks. However, if Trump doesn't learn quickly that commies only fear blood and pain, he's finished. If we don't see arrests, perp walks, and prison sentences, two things will happen. Number one, impeachment. We already saw that Indian dude. He drafted articles of impeachment against Donald J. Trump. We watched a video yesterday, so he's trying to impeach Trump. So that was yesterday's video. Number two, next time the shit libs take power, they'll simply refuck everything he's trying to fix from education to trade to immigration. We're in a war. It's time to start acting like it. I agree. Trump is a wartime president. There's an invasion across the border. A lot of that stuff is getting handled. Tom Homan's doing great. Amazing turnaround in a short period of time. Still more work to be done, of course. We got to get all these illegals out of the country because they're criminals. Get them the fuck out. Send them home. It's a free ride home. Go back. No harm, no foul. Just get them out. And there's a lot of harm, but you get my point. So I agree. That's the problem. That's the problem. The idea that after Trump leaves office that, these are all executive orders. Like, things need to stick because anyone who gets in next can just say, like, okay, this executive order is up, this executive order is up. If it's not passed and officially go through Congress, these things will not be permanent. So I agree with that. Iron String Project, big miss on student loans. 40% of right/conservative households have student debt. This is bipartisan to include engineers, medical professions, accountants. Easing terms to lower interest and longer terms will greatly improve monthly cash flow strain for a lot of households. Yeah, student loans are predatory. They're criminal. But again, I'm split because for one thing, you shouldn't be, I don't want to be subsidizing and paying off other people's student loans. That's not fair. Yes, the student loans are predatory. They prey on uneducated people, or they leverage, super high interest rates or variable adjustable interest rates, which fuck people over for the rest of their lives. However, people are signing on the dotted line. So this is where we have a failure of education, because if you realize, hey, the terms on this loan are dog shit, don't sign the paperwork. Don't go to college. Don't go to university. Let these universities flounder and go under, or have more competitive XYZ. So I don't think there should be predatory loans. I think credit card interest rates are criminal. I think all these things, but people are agreeing to these things. So you have to understand, when someone signs a contract, hey, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then, oh my God, I have all, well, it said it all here. Well, I didn't know, I didn't read. Well, you didn't read. You didn't go to a lawyer. You didn't check this out. You didn't weigh your options. So kids are not, or people are not educated. Their parents are not educating them. The school doesn't fucking tell you. Why? The school doesn't care. They want the money from the government. They don't give a shit. They'll say whatever they can to get you to sign up and go there. So, but I think, there should be massive reform with like a lot of these interest rates. I don't know exactly. People need to have accountability for their actions. I'm glad that the student loans that I had were like at 3.375% that I had paid off. So I didn't have like my entire thing. I had like a couple grants, but then I had some loans. I think when I graduated, I had like $25,000 or $26,000, and I, deferred it because I didn't have any money at the time. And then I was paying, minimum payments, which is probably interest only. So after, 5-10 years, I still owed the same. I owed like $500 or $1,000 more. And I was like, this is fucking insane. So fortunately I was able to, I'm like, I'm just going to hammer these out. And I paid them all off. But yeah, I mean, that was good interest rates considering. This was back, but that was started in 2000, 2001. But you have some of these interest rates are, they go up after a certain period of time. Like, they're just insane. And the problem is not necessarily the loans themselves. Yes, it is. But the problem is being able to pay it back. So when you have the government printing money, the monetary policy is dog shit. Like, the only thing they can do is print more money, which devalues the currency. And the education you're getting is substandard. In other words, you're paying all this money and people are spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on college loans for degrees that are not going to help you pay it back. Your libtard degree, you're not going to be able to get a job that pays that back. So you have people that are signing contracts for bullshit, terrible, terrible, terrible loans. And then they're using them for degrees that are garbage. If you're going to law school or medical school or engineering, and you have like a track that's going to be paying you lucrative, it still might be a big loan, but you can service the loan and pay it off. Or you should work during school and pay it off. People don't do that. You could be aggressively paying off the principal while you're in school, but of course that's more effort, blah, blah, blah. So it's just not worth it. Go to trade school. How much is a trade school? Right? How much is a trade school? You're going for HVAC, you're going for electrical, plumbing. What else? What are other good trade schools? What are the good trades? What was that going to cost you? 15 grand, 20 grand out the door. So you barely have any debt. You're probably working while you're going to trade school, right? You have a job or you're doing something that can pay that off. And then you get a job and you're making 80, 100, 120 a year or something like that. And then you pay off. Like, that's what it should be, apprenticeships, right? There's so many things you can learn just by having someone teach you. Simple. And when we talk about trade school, seriously, if you have, let's say your father is a plumber and he has a plumbing company. And when you're 6 years old, he's fixing stuff in the house and taking you on jobs and you're seeing and you're helping him, you're holding the wrench, holding the flashlight, and you're like, hey, change this. See, this has this J pipe here. We take this off. Okay. You're learning. When you're 13, you're doing stuff with him. Hey, good job, dude. And like you're learning. You don't need trade school after that. You've been doing it for 15 years. That's like an apprenticeship. You know, you're 13, you start learning. You don't have to be in high school. You don't have to be in high school. It's a waste. You get all this information. You can watch a couple YouTube videos that give you the history of, I don't know, Eastern Europe. Read some books, watch some real quality documentaries and things like that, and you get your education. You know, you get the work experience. You get real world experience. You have kids that are in $300,000 worth of debt getting their first real world experience at like 23, 24. And they realize, shit, I shouldn't have done this. I hate this job. I hate this fucking thing. Oh, I can't pay this off. This is awful. Yeah. You got scammed. It sucks. I'm just grateful that when I went to school, I got a degree in exercise science. So it actually applied and it got me a couple positions and things at the time, but I definitely wouldn't do it today. I would say my degree and when I was in school was kind of like the end of like when college was really necessary. But of course, certain things you need to go to college for, but those are very specific. You're going for an English major. That's a waste of time. You're going for like a history degree. That's a waste of time. You're going for, you know, read books. There's your history. What else? Gender studies, waste of time. You know, so what do you expect? You're not gonna be able to pay that shit back. Let's go back. Phosphorus says, my life hasn't changed. Wonder what that says about politics in my life. Well, good. You might not see direct effects, but you know, you'll notice that if your buying power decreases. So it definitely affects your life. The tariffs will and can affect your business or your purchases. Monetary policy will affect. Illegal immigration will affect the value of your dollar and the availability for jobs and housing. So it definitely affects your life. Absolutely. Let's see. Yo Mama says, well, not too happy about him inadvertently getting commie Mark Carney elected in Canada. I don't think Canadians, Trump had nothing to do with Canadians making another terrible decision. He was going to win anyway. Canada is so fucking liberal. People don't understand. Canada is nothing like the United States. I love Canadians, but the country's a mess. We all know that. That's how dumb Canadians are, even though their own government is the problem. They think Trump is the bigger problem and Carney will save them idiots. Let's see. Multi-expert. Outside America, it looks really bad. He'll start World War III or USA will lose trade war with China. USA is finished and he can't accept it. So I said, what looks bad about it? Let me see what he said. Everything? Okay, well, that's not really good feedback. Everything looks bad. Okay. Danny, watching the left meltdowns make it more enjoyable. Good so far. Can't wait to see how the next 4 year goes. Fair enough. Patriot Teacher, why was that hidden? Why was that a hidden comment? Awesome. Lot more work to do, but great start. Wish there wasn't a huge evil pushback, but got to fight through it. Why would that be hidden? Why would that reply be hidden? It's totally true. Okay. Let's get some responses from the comments. Ellie says, don't go to college if you can't afford it, like buying a home or a car. Save up your money first. Pam says, sad thing is with some construction jobs, no one wants to actually work. Hard to find good help. Ellie says, high school should be focused on career skills. College should be for those careers that require it, like medicine or law. I agree. Imagine if you replaced high school with like apprenticeships, like career skills, like you shadow an accountant. I mean, that'd be boring, but at least you do something where it's like finance, or you shadow, you know, carpentry. You have like it should be kind of like in some degrees you have like that clinical portion where you go and do residency, or you go and you do your clinical trials. High school should literally be maybe freshman, sophomore, and then the rest of it should just be you go and you shadow plumbing and you learn how plumbing works, or you learn how environmental waste gets processed, or, you know, logistics of shipping, right? You have different things. You could maybe, there's a few things you could choose from, because women and girls are going to go towards one direction. Dudes are going to go towards like the dump trucks and engineering, you know, the STEM stuff more often. And women are going to be more towards nursing or healthcare or hospice and a lot of other different skills. and see what you like, because people don't get those experiences. They go to college and they don't know what to do. So they do general liberal arts stuff, and it's just money for the colleges, but it's worthless in real life. It's worthless. So if you're in high school for a couple years learning about things that you might like to do, maybe you do. Maybe there's a section where like, hey, personal fitness, and you go to a gym and the gym gets some kind of, money or pay for the school to do like a seminar and show like how to work out and how personal training works. You have a couple of people giving talks and you experience the gym floor in this environment, or a personal training or physical therapy, and kids are like, ooh, I really like that. Then they can whatever. But then when you go to, but then the thing is, then when you go to college, or then whether or not you need to go to college. Or like, oh my God, I never thought I'd like medicine so much. It was awesome. We went to the hospital and I was like, we saw what like a surgeon's doing. Like, oh, it blew my mind. I fucking love it. Cool. Then you want to go to college and medical school. Then you have the track and you're like, I want to do this. Drella says Canada's GDP, 2.3 trillion. USA 30.5 trillion. Yeah, we need Canada. We need Canada like we need a bunion on our ass. I agree with Adam here. If you're not doing something with math or science related, college will not serve you well. Yeah, things like statistics and shit like that, very important. How awesome would be like I don't want to say like a degree in statistics, but people that understand statistics, how effective has that been? Everything's statistics, right? It's data. Everything is data. Through COVID, it's all data and statistics. And that's why they're saying, oh my God, there's a 9,000% increase in COVID cases over here. If it went from like 2 to like 15, oh my God, that's 9,000%. That's not 9,000%. That'd be like 900 or something. But you get the point. It's like, oh my God, I went from 5 to 10. That's 100% increase. Oh my God. And went from like 1 to 2. It's, well, not statistically significant, but if you frame it that way in a New York Times article, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, the world's ending. I saw this stuff about like the H5N1 or whatever. They're trying to scare people about bird flu, right? To get another vaccine or some bullshit. And it was saying, oh my God, 70 people or 50 people got sick and one person died. It said that in an article. One person has already died. Well, considering 90% of the population are very unhealthy and there's 330 million people, I'm not so concerned about one person getting sick with something. One fucking person. Oh no, we should inject people with experimental vaccines across the country because one person got sick. Oh no. Oh no. I just saw this pop up. God, this woman is such a fucking evil witch. This is from Hillary Clinton. God, how the fuck is she still allowed to post online? What an absolute piece of shit. So she posted a picture of, I forget this guy's name. Hillary Clinton says, in Trump's first 100 days, he alienated us from our allies. What? Crashed the stock market. I don't know. Bitcoin's sitting at 94, so not really sure what kind of crash you're talking about. But all right. Decimated U.S. cancer research. I'm sorry. How's cancer doing in this country? Decimated U.S. cancer research. Well, we're making so many leaps and bounds with cancer, aren't we? You mean the turbo cancers from the experimental vaccines? The experimental gene therapy, I should say. They're not vaccines. What about the turbo cancers? What about all the garbage ingredients in the food? What about blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're making great leaps and bounds with no one gets cancer anymore. Did you guys know that? Cancer's gone. All this U.S. cancer research is just being so successful. There's like next to no cancer. It's been great. Did you guys know that? Expelled American toddlers. I don't even know what that means. What American toddlers... American, what, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds? What American toddlers were expelled? What does that even mean? What is she referring to? Does anyone know? Lost the Canadian election by proxy. No, yeah, Trump lost yeah, Trump did it. Trump lost the Canadian election. No, Canadians lost the Canadian election. Polyev lost the election because conservative in Canada is like conservative in Canada is ultra liberal in the United States. People don't realize that. Polyev being conservative in Canada is being essentially a leftist in the United States. Okay. And threatened your social security checks. Well, we have way too much money in entitlement programs. You have an aging population that doesn't do anything and is just suckling off smaller and smaller generations because of the population decline. So there's that. A lot of people getting free and fraudulent checks, and we're just paying for people that are not providing any value. That's the problem with the breakdown of families and people leaving the workforce, and this incentive and this idea that retirement is something that you should aim to achieve. You should never retire. You should always be working or creating and doing something and providing value. The problem with Social Security is you're paying into this fucking scam that keeps your money and gives you a pittance at the end. You're much better off not paying into Social Security and investing it. And when you invest it, you will compound your growth instead of getting like a little tiny bullshit allowance from a inflated and a debased currency. So she's showing this picture and she's being sarcastic, but at least he focused on the important stuff. President Trump's accomplishments: ended production of the penny, ended federal support for paper straws, and declassified the JFK files. What a just inauthentic twat. Yeah, that's only a couple things. No one cares about any of these things really. And he's done a lot more than that. Let's not talk about the border being shut down. Let's not talk about the deportations that are going down. Yeah, that's all that Trump has done. He got rid of plastic straws. You're right, Hillary Clinton. We should have voted for your heinous ass 10 years ago. Just disappear already. So let's watch this video. This is funny as shit. Considering it's Trump's 100 days, we'll watch some videos. But let's watch this little clip from recent ABC interview, which was a train wreck for ABC, which is like one of the worst outlets that we have in this country. But take a listen to this clip.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you. Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your...
Fuck you. That's true. That's true. And of course, you know, liberals don't want to admit this. Yeah, I know Trump's abrasive, and you'll say, fake news, you're fake news. He's absolutely right. If you pay even like casual attention, you know it's all fake. ABC is the worst. Remember that debate with David Muir or whatever the fuck it was? Like, absolute disaster. Just lies and lies and lies. ABC is the worst. What I don't understand is why Trump keeps on giving these people the time of day. Why isn't like War Room or, you know, Tim Pool or, I don't know, Stephen Craig? Like, why is he giving these people any time? He should just completely ignore them. I mean, I guess it's good. He's got to reach across the quote aisle, I guess. I don't even think it's an aisle anymore. I think it's like the Mississippi River. It's not even an aisle anymore. Everything is so split down the middle. And if you watch the full interview, the guy on ABC is trying to like gaslight and pretend like the MS-13, the Maryland man, right? The guy, the criminal who's kicked back out to his home country wasn't an MS-13 gang member. And Trump is like, he had MS-13 on his knuckles. No, that was photoshopped. What are you talking about? Photoshop, you idiot. Yeah. Nick said, do you see that his wife said, oh, he got those MS-13 tattoos because he thought they were cool? Bro, let me tell you something. If MS-13 finds out, go get yourself some MS-13 tattoos and see what happens if they find out that you have their tattoos and you're not a part of their gang. Give that a shot. Flaunt it. Get those tattoos. Get those MS-13 tattoos and wear that around. Yeah. Bloods, Crips, like any of those like hardcore gangs, you know, just get those tattoos and post about it, flash it on social media, see how it goes for you. That's a good idea. Good stuff. Just try it. Let me know how it goes. These are fun. I thought they were cool looking. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Let's get some gang tattoos. Yeah. No one's gonna be upset by that. Yeah, you don't have to earn those in the gang. Just get them done. See how it works out. See how it works out. Yeah. Thought about this. Now, what do you guys think about? Well, you guys can drop in the comments down below. This image, it's going to get under people's skin. But take a look at that vaccine schedule. And you tell me if there's anything to see here. I posted this. I saw it on X and I was like, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Does that look like maybe it might cause some side effects or some issues in our society if we're giving healthy little babies all these injections? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm not sure even if this is all of them. There's like 70 or 80 of them. That's 4, 8. Let's see. Was that 7, 14? So that's 22. Another 7. That's like 40, right? I think it's like 80 though. What do you guys think? Does that look like maybe it might? I don't know. Maybe. Does that look? I'm not saying you're a scientist. I'm not saying you're a doctor. I'm like, oh, but I'm not a doctor. I didn't get indoctrinated in Rockefeller school. I can't have an opinion on this. I can have opinion. And I'm going to give you my fucking opinion. If you look at this, and this is not all of them, if you look at this and you don't honestly think like, there's a possibility that this might be fucking up children, you're retarded, you're flat out lying, both, or you're just pure the reason why a lot of people are going to deny this, they're going to deny reality, is because a lot of people went along and got their kids all these shots because, I don't want my kid to have a problem. Like they might have had the right intentions and they didn't want to say anything, or they couldn't go to school if you don't get these vaccines. They're just going to drop dead. Sudden infant death syndrome. Babies just die for no fucking reason. They just die. Right? Sudden adult death. They just die. People just die. Maybe it could be a combination of having like 30, 40 fucking vaccines by the time they're a year old. Hey, there couldn't be anything in any of these things. Pharmaceutical companies never make any mistakes. Did you know that? No one's ever had an adverse side effect. No one's ever died. There's never, ever been, there's never been a pharmaceutical drug that has ever been recalled. 100% safe and effective. Everything that's been put on the market, there's never been a problem. Just use your thought. Use your brain. Use your brain. I'm just saying, the fact that you have Democrats that are going to push back on any just narrative. It's not even a narrative. It's asking an honest question. Hey, let's look at all these 70, 80 fucking things. Maybe there's a bunch of these, if not all of them, that do not need to be applied to a healthy baby. And some of these things, does it say anything? A lot of these they still want you to get COVID shots in utero. You're a pregnant woman, they want to inject your fucking stomach. They want to inject your tiny little baby fetus in utero. They want to stick your stomach with these fucking things. Tell me that's not evil. Or try to tell me it's not evil. I don't believe it. Let's go. We're already going balls deep. All right, let's get into this. Do we have any short videos to start? We'll do the Actually, we'll do that one last. We'll do the fat phobe. Ooh. All right, pick a number. I'll just do it. Let's do this one first. It's called Fat Phobia and Healthcare. We're talking about healthcare first, so let's just do this one.
What's in the box?
Okay.
Tell you that fat phobia is so rampant in the healthcare industry.
Maybe this woman is signing the articles of impeachment. Is this his wife? Donald J. Trump is fat phobic. Okay, let's continue.
When I tell you that fat phobia is so rampant in the healthcare industry.
Rampant. I had to.
In India, societally, yes, it is rampant. Sometimes doctors do
Rampant.
think before they advise you to lose weight.
It is
But in the
rampant.
United States, it's like a standard. Like if you are in a bigger body and you
It should
go
not
to a
be so
doctor,
rampant.
they are inevitably going to tell you to lose weight.
It's rampant.
In my case, my numbers, like all
Everybody
the blood
knows
work,
it's
lipid
rampant.
panel, and all those numbers, cholesterol, they are spectacular, right? And when I say spectacular, I'm not exaggerating. My HDL, the good cholesterol, is
You go
higher
rampant
than
my
my
ball sack.
triglycerides, the risk factor.
Rampant.
Right? My genetic history is such that I am at a very low risk of any of these other diseases,
Even
like
if they're rampant.
heart disease or cancer or diabetes, right? I'm at a very low
Diabetes
risk.
is rampant in this country.
So when the doctor tells me to lose weight, I just get irritated. But until then, I used to, like until recent, so I got my annual this year in March.
And he says you're
and the
fat.
doctor asked me to lose weight. When
Because
I
you're fat.
asked her, why are you asking me this?
Fatness is
Before even
rampant.
looking at my numbers, their standard response is your BMI is high, so you're at a higher risk of something, some diseases. Now, BMI is a racist standard that originated in eugenics.
Racism is
We
rampant.
shouldn't consider BMI as a tool to make any decisions. Forget the decisions that are not even related to public health. They are related to an individual treatment.
Treatments
you
are
look at me
rampant.
and you associate ideas of what health looks like in my body. You haven't even seen the data yet. And even when my numbers came out and those numbers were spectacular, she
The data.
still did ask me to lose weight.
The data. Okay, yeah, because you're fucking fat. You're fat. Jesus Christ. God damn it. You're fat. Stop being fat. Change your fat habits and you won't be fat anymore. This one's called Former Fats, and we're getting into something called, a video is called Cyst. Maybe you saw this online, but we'll get into it in a second.
What's in the box?
Former Fats.
The thing about being fat and being okay with it is that people of all sizes, mostly people that are thin or are on a weight loss journey or whatever, they get really, really upset about it. And they want me to be miserable. They want me to be upset that I'm fat. And when I'm not, and when I actually like it, and when I actually have good style, when I'm actually having fulfilling sex, they get really upset about it. And one of the only conclusions that can be drawn from that for me is that oftentimes, in my opinion, is about their own hatred of themselves and their own inability to actually love themselves.
Lack of
And so
love
when
is
they
rampant.
see people like me that are fat and actually are completely fine with it, it is so enraging to them because there is like something that gets brought up in them that they feel like they need me to hate myself so that I can be alongside them as they hate themselves into thinness.
Someone's talking about Indian food. Isn't it all vegetarian, right? Every time I see an Indian food, it looks like sludge. I'm not insulting Indian culture, but Indian food has just never smelled or tasted good to me. Because, I mean, and I say, feel like I've had Indian food before, but like the smell has always repelled me away from it. So I'm not sure if I've had it, but I've seen like these different colors. It's like yellow, all curry. I don't know. This looks gross. I've seen enough street vendor videos in India to like never, ever, ever want to even think about consuming Indian food, let alone ever going to India. I don't know. It's scary. Look at that tainty boy. Look at that taint. Aww. Look at that taint. Look at that. It's right there. He's covering it up because he's bashful. That's a tainty man. That's a tainty boy. Hashtag Swole AF for a chance to win today's Swole card. Adam says Indian food can be good, but only in America. Over in India, it comes with a finger. It comes with a fingernail. Mark says all shit vegetables cooked in oil. Lentils. Oh, is lentil? Maybe. Lentils might be the most overrated. Lentils go right with carrots. Lentils and carrots can both like disappear from the planet. Oof, lentils are God damn. Can't make those taste good. I feel sick now. All right. Let's Alex says a few years ago I went to a local Indian restaurant in Colorado. It was the best food I've ever had eating out. Well, good stuff. What meat do they have? Is it lamb? Like what do they eat? What's like a protein that you get from Indian food? Tikka masala. Yeah, I don't know any of these words. What's a meat? What meat do like chicken? I'm sure it's only certain areas of India where the cows are sacred. It's not the whole country, right? Anyway, you guys can.
What's in the box?
Maybe we'll find out more. Because Trump is going to be impeached. Sometimes chicken. Okay, this one's called cyst. Cyst. I'm not anti-Indian. I just don't care. Anything that's like, oh, beef is sacred, don't eat beef. I'm like, I am never going there. You're not off to a good start. You're not off to a good start. If you're taking out meat, hey, back off, bro. Back up. Back up. This one's called cyst. You can't make this stuff up.
Is anything. If I had a cyst on my uterus, that would be considered an abortion. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Look at, okay, anything that is involving the uterus.
Well, no, in
Mark.
order for it to be an abortion, it must be a human life.
No,
Mark, you're up.
Anything that is involving the uterus and you have to get rid of it, it is considered abortion.
No.
Abortion has been a big thing for
yeah.
a long time, and it affects people,
So-
and it hurts people.
So as murder and slavery and child sacrifice,
That is completely different.
Jesus Christ. I can smell the patchouli through the screen. God, can you imagine? Look, why do you think she's so angry? Who the hell wants to bang that? Who wants to bang that? No one. Soy boys. Because they can't get anything. They can't get anyone, so they're going to pretend like, I agree with your views. Can I hang out with you? Let's go to a rally. They're just trying to get some puss. Yeah. Wow. Liberal women are just ugly. You know what's funny? Look in the background, right? Hold on. Let me just. Look at what she's wearing. Angry, all pale. Look at the background. I'm just saying, look. Just look at the background for a second. I'm not saying, is that girl missing a tooth? Whatever. All you see in the background are like 9 or 10. There's like 100 people there. It's just like literally like 9 or 10. You know, I don't know. I mean, it depends what you want to call attractive, but like, yeah, they're like young blonde girls wearing like MAGA hats. It's like, there's a big difference, right? Look at the girl in the front. I'm just saying, let's observe. All right. And then you have like all these like young blonde girls, like with MAGA hats on the background. Everyone's like, yeah, I want those. I want those women that don't look insane. I want the ones that look like women. And they're all smiling and she's angry, like, a cyst on my womb. Look at all look at all the blonde girls in the background. Right? You got good looking women. You got women in the actual women in the background. I don't want to like assume her pronouns, of course. Maybe like insane. Look, there's all these like all these blonde girls in the background. It's so funny. It's so funny, that backdrop. And she like yells and turns and yells at the girls. Yes, it is. And all the girls are like, no, it's not, you dumb twat. Listen to this.
On my uterus. That would be considered an abortion. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Everyone's like, no, it's not. It's like, yes, it is. God damn it. Nice rainbow crochet top you're wearing. God, what a fucking waste. Don't let your kids go to college. They're going to become retarded. All right, let's do a throwback. Oh my God. Holy, is that Tess? Jesus Christ. I haven't heard that name in a while. What's going on with Tess Holiday? Is she still around? She's still alive? This looks like her. Is this her?
That there's any surprise
It is?
that we have been affected
an old one.
in the plus size modeling industry and overall by
Where is she now?
deep issues that are rooted in racism.
Oh, it's rooted in racism. So many white allies. It's just racism. All you have to do is say racism and all these white women on the stage are like, yeah.
I mean, the fact that folks despise larger bodied individuals roots back to racism.
You stupid fucking cunt.
It all roots back to racism.
Yeah.
And until the country
Oh, let's clap.
actually addresses the violence that frankly white supremacists and white folks are causing to people of color. And
Where are the white supremacists? I'm still waiting to see some white supremacists. I've never heard a term used so much and with evidence. So, like, where? Where are the white supremacists? Where are they? Let's do another one, because that was really... massive. That's a massive human being. Overweight child. Let's do one more. Junk food. Oh, gross. Let's do this one. That looks horrifying.
That kink isn't kid friendly. I'm saying
It's
that
not.
kids and kink can coexist at Pride in a totally fine way.
You're being brainwashed.
Kink is sexual. Kink is a fetish. It cannot coexist. Or it can, but that's literally pedophilia. That's literally grooming. That's literally abuse. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. You can peg each other all fucking day. I don't give a shit. Fucking leave the kids alone.
That making an event kid friendly doesn't mean sanitizing it, aka taking something like kink out of Pride.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
Making Pride kid friendly is not the same thing as sanitizing Pride.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, dude.
It's absolutely the same fucking thing. By the way, Pride's not appropriate for kids, period. Pride is all about sexuality. It's not about human fucking rights. Shut up. Ugh. Ugh. All right, these people are pedophiles. Like, if you feel the need to talk about sex with kids, like, that's creepy. That's sick shit. That's really sick shit. That's so gross. So gross. All right, let's see what we got. Is it time to bring back Tess Hornaday? Yeah, she's right here. Tess Hornaday. Hashtag swole as fuck. Let's give away today's swole card. Thanks for being here, Beaches. Let's give it away. Nope, not yet, Falcon. Not yet, you goddamn bird. This fucking bird. You get so excited. You get so excited. Hashtag swole AF. Swole AF. We got a winner. Today's winner. Let's hit that button again. LET. 1, 2, 3. Je suis musique. 1, 2, 3. All right, LET. Congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 3281. In the subject, your mailing address in the body of the email. Congratulations on winning today's swole card. Excellent. Fantastic. Fantastique. You know how it goes. Congratulations. All right, fam. Let's do this. Any last minute questions? Maybe not. Join us over at swolenormousx.com. We had new drops. On Monday, they do lift in herds. We got buy one, get one 50% off the entire site. Wow.
Wow.
Over there at papaswolio.com. Go check it out. They do lift in herds. Homeschool your kids. Go to the fucking gym. Eat a steak. Don't go vegetarian. Go eat a fucking steak. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Be swolenormousx.com to join the fam. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good shit. And we'll see you then. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stocks crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now the king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bag that you made. That's a bag that you made. That's a bag that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Hey, yeah. Whoa, my shit is relevant. Our topic, my melanin is